Okay. Okay. Madam Khadija, you're supposed to be in the panelist. I see you in the general attendee. Please check your email. You will see the special link for you to be in the panelist. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Um, Thank you very much for coming in to be a part of this webinar. Please just give us 2 minutes so that others can come in. Thank you. Over to you, our chair.
Good morning. Can anyone hear me? Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think we can start now. Others can then join us. So over to you, Mrs. Sandra Ekwe. Good morning once again, everyone. All panelists, please let's put on our videos whenever we're looking at.
Good morning, all. Following the agenda, welcome to the Weog Q3 Supplier Diversity Congress. Would like to take our opening prayer. President, I don't know if you can help us with that.
National anthem.
Okay. So it's the first stanza of national anthem. I think we can check. We can get it on our phones and read it out if it's going to be a problem. Hello.
We can hear you and we're ready to go ahead.
So we need to take the national anthem as our opening prayer. President, is it the first? Is it the old one or the new one?
The new one, please.
So I don't know if you can check your phone and
Okay, would you want us to play it?
No, I want us to check our phones and read it out.
Okay, don't worry. Let's just play it so that we can quickly go through one that makes it faster. Just a minute. Okay, we'll play it. Just a minute. Share screen and play it. Okay, I think we can go back.
Hello, President, are you playing it? Okay.
Okay. Oh, we didn't hear it.
No,
I thought it was it was playing. Sorry, I thought it was playing. So did we see it?
Yes, we saw.
Okay, but it was not so. Okay. Oh, it was not. Okay, I think at least we did we read along at least. All
so
right, I think that should be. Yeah,
I
please
think we're
back
good
to
to do that. Okay, the next agenda will be welcome remark. So Dr. Duni, I don't, you will take us on that.
Please follow your agenda.
That's the agenda, welcome remark. Okay.
Destiny Ash.
Sorry, welcome remark, it's by you, ma'am. The next person will be Mrs. Tolu Longer. Just 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Please, can we see the platform now, or it's gone off?
We are still seeing your presentation. End your presentation.
Okay, stop screen share. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for being a part of this webinar this morning. Thank you very much for heeding the call. Well, we're all aware that there's a major drive to increase entrepreneurship in the country to further help to build our nation. And then we know that anything women touches multiplies. So the objective, or major objective of this meeting is to be able to see how we can increase women entrepreneurship in energy, oil, and gas value chain. Please sit back, share the link with as many people as possible to join. We're going to be sharing some very, very important information here. We have top-level industry experts from across board. Some are joining from America, some are in the UK, some are in Nigeria, some are in Warri, some are in Delta, some are in Port Harcourt, across the nation, across the globe. Come on, join and bring in more women participants. Let's fill up this space. I know it's Saturday morning, but it's going to be a very short and sharp congress where we would also be unveiling so many other big things and great things that are happening opportunities for our women. Thank you very much and welcome once again. Thank you. Mrs. Epe.
Okay, and sorry, next on the agenda is Mrs. Tolulonge. Please take your section and tell us a bit about opportunities in the oil and gas for women-led businesses, your insights to current and future trends in the oil and gas industry, and the strategies to securing oil and gas contracts. Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. I hope you can hear me.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Okay. Please let me know when I have like 2 minutes left so that I can start to round up. Good morning, everyone online. Good morning, amazing ladies and women of substance. It's great to be in our midst today and sharing and rubbing minds together, particularly on how women can thrive in the oil and gas industry, to not only the success of the women, but to the success of Nigeria and the success of the world at large. So regarding opportunities in the oil and gas industry, particularly for either women-owned businesses or women-led businesses, I like to say there almost unlimited number of opportunities in the oil and gas industry. There's this general misconception that for you to be able to participate in the oil and gas industry, you need to be an engineer. Yes, a lot of the core work in the oil and gas industry is related to engineering. But apart from that, there are a huge number of opportunities apart from core engineering. Even when you have the core engineering services, you still require other services, logistics, transportation, feeding, maintenance, repairs, and a whole host of things. You even require training. You require artisans, semi-skilled personnel, skilled personnel. So there is a whole host of opportunities after that. There's the upstream sector, there's midstream, there's downstream. So many areas where there are opportunities. So I would like to largely narrow down to a number of opportunities, particularly in Nigeria, because we believe in starting small, starting in our locality, understanding the business, and then growing from there, not only within Nigeria, but even beyond Nigeria, and being able to play internationally and competing with others globally once we're well established and understand the business phenomenally. So a couple of areas where I see opportunities exist around services. Services are generally required in the oil and gas industry, whether you're into maintenance services, you're into logistics. There's also the part around supply chain. In supply chain, you can either be supplying equipment, materials. People wear PPE, which is the coveralls, the shirts, the trousers, the boots, rain boots, umbrellas, air muffs, air plugs. All these things need to be supplied and bought by somebody and supplied to this company. There's also the local content part of it in terms of whether you're able to manufacture small parts, you're able to fabricate replacement equipment to when an equipment is run down or needs maintenance. There's also the environmental part of it. Waste is always generated by these companies, Those wastes need to be disposed. The waste needs to be managed. There's waste to wealth. There's cleanup of waste if there's a spillage and all that. And then more recently, there's digital, the digital aspects, when you talk about digital transformation, the use of software, data analytics, use of digital twins. There are even human twins now that opportunities exist in all these areas. So there is a huge array of places where opportunities exist, apart from the core opportunities of wire logging, seismic analysis, drilling, and all that also exists. Some of the other opportunities that, like I said, that also exist include entrepreneurial training and mentorship programs. Mentorship programs is also an arena which we in Weog, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, play. We mentor people, we handhold people in order to be able to transition from knowing nothing about the industry to becoming players in the industry, competing for contracts, winning contracts, and executing those contracts as well. You can also play in those areas, training people. There's also one of the biggest challenges in the oil and gas industry tends to be access to funding and financing. So there are also opportunities as a women-owned or led business to be able to play in that arena if you have an accounting background, you have a lot of network in the industry. You can have a business that all you focus on is helping women to gain access to funding and capital, whether it's at the micro level, whether it's in terms of grants, it's in terms of funds, it's in terms of loans, all those things also exist. And one of the other areas is also with regards to facilitating networks. You know what they say? They say your network is your net worth, right? So you can also have a business that basically all you're doing is facilitating, connecting two people together in order to be able to gain access to opportunities that exist. And you can have a sign-up fee or a fee related to that, such that your business can be able to be a income generating company and making businesses. Even organizing network events. Today, we have big companies in the industry like DMG that organize seminars, webinars, the global ones, but at the local one level, we still have opportunities for other players to be able to come inside that arena as well and be able to play. And then we have, at the lower level, we also have vocational training. We need welders, we need mechanics, we need carpenters and all that in the industry. If you have a vocational school and you're able to train these people, give them certification to NVQ type level, then there's a ready market for employing. If you go to a lot of the communities, one of the things you would hear is the dearth of opportunities for employment. So if we have in a company that is able to train people and make them ready and employable for the industry, then I think opportunities also abound in that respect. So I'll leave it at that as some of the key things. And some of the opportunities, I would say, on the other side, from the government side, from regulatory side, that also exists is that there are lots of policies in place, particularly policies around local content development, which emphasizes participation of Nigeria in the industry, and ensuring that companies that participate in the Nigerian oil and gas typically have at least 51% Nigerian holding, meaning a Nigerian person is a majority shareholder in that company. Even if foreigners want to run things in that industry, they still need a Nigerian partner to be able to play in that, except when it's 100% specialist And even at that, special grants or permissions need to be given. And then the other opportunities that are also available. Some companies also have initiatives for women-owned or women-led companies to be able to give them special support, special access to being able to develop their business either under the Nigerian content umbrella or under their own social responsibility umbrella. Some of them go ahead, give these projects to the women, and also provide support in terms of microfinance funding as well. So all these opportunities exist. And then the non-government organizations and entities like ours in Women in Energy, Oil and Gas that also have some of this information and able to provide it to women that also need it as well in order to be able to fast track our opportunities, learning, development, and success in the industry. You also have African Development Bank, which has an initiative called the Women's Entrepreneurship Finance Initiative. We have the Bank of Industry Women Entrepreneurial Fund. We have NCDMB's Women in Oil and Gas Fund. We also have International Finance, the IFC Corporation, Women's Entrepreneurship Program, and a host of other programs. We have a number of capacity building initiatives as well that are also available to women in the industry. But I think I've spoken enough about that. During the Q&A, you can drop questions and then I will try to answer that, or we can connect afterwards as well. And I will try to answer some of those questions. So let's move on to insight into current and future trends in the oil and gas industry. So the truth of the matter is the oil and gas industry, as it has traditionally been, is changing phenomenally. Even in Nigeria today, you would hear a lot of the international oil companies are divesting their assets. And please don't get me wrong, when I say they're divesting assets from Nigeria, most of what you hear is that they're actually divesting from onshore fields assets in Nigeria, as well as the shallow fields that are offshore. But the deep fields that are offshore, a lot of those IOCs are still players in it. So when they say they're leaving or divesting, it doesn't mean that they're 100% leaving Nigeria. So there are opportunities for these assets to be taken over by local entities. When local entities take over these assets as well, they would still require services, support. And don't forget, the way the IOCs used to operate will be different from the way the Nigerian entities will operate. The Nigerian entities hopefully understand Nigeria as a terrain better. They understand the Niger Delta better. They speak the local language. They have families, members, and some of them are even from the communities. So modus operandi will be different from what it has been with the IOCs, which would also create opportunities, which women, okay, I see I'm being flagged that time is almost up. So we have things like geopolitical tensions, we have our wars, Ukraine, Russia, in the Middle East, all those things affect the oil and gas industry. Even things as simple as droughts, when there's too much raining, it affects the transport channels through which shipping vessels transport their products, and all these things have an impact on the industry. There's a continuous demand by the world globally to reduce the carbon footprint of fossil fuel consumption. That also creates opportunities, whether you play in the solar panel field, in solar energy generation, in windmill generation, in hydrocracking, hydrolysis, whether you are into electrification, whether you are into digital transformation. There's a whole host of opportunities, whether you want to manufacture biofuels from grass, from maize, from corn, from a whole host of opportunities, as well as sustainable and responsible use. So you can even be a player in things like ESG, helping to do EIA assessment, environmental impact assessment, and holding businesses on how to be sustainable, how to work with communities, how to ensure that their business is able to run seamlessly, and a whole host of others. And the future is also bright. There's a lot of statements about oil disappearing, but we believe even gas will still be in the energy mix of the future for the coming years. I think let me stop. Apologies, the time was short, but I hope I've been able to share some insights. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, you did. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. The next section would be myself. I'll be taking introduction to the team, positioning your business for oil and gas contracts, just diving a bit deeper. I need to share my slides. Let me know when you can see.
Can we introduce ourselves? The participants would like to know who is the erudite professors behind the scenes. So please, let's share our names, who we are, both in Weog and also the industry at large. So maybe Engineer Tolu can quickly just do that for herself, and then Madam Sandra as well. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Tolu Lokpelunge for Weog. I'm the National Vice President Sectors in Weog, and for my day job, I work with Nigeria LNG Limited, and the commercial contracts manager for Nigeria LNG. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Tolu.
Okay, good morning all. My name is Sandra Ekpe Aho. I am the chapter director for Rivers State. I co-own a business, women-owned, women-led, and business name is Nova Resources Company Limited. Thank you.
My name is Ogochukwu Okekbolo. I am the chapter director for Delta State. I am the executive director of corporate services for Bisense Resources Limited. I'm also United Nations eminent ambassador.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Khadija Jehine, and I'm the National Chairperson for Capacity Building, Weog. I also work with NCDMB in Yenegua as I work at the Capacity Building Directorate. Thank you.
So back to you, Madam Sandra.
Can you see my slide, please?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'll be talking about sorry. Sorry, let me get it up again. Okay, I think it would be difficult for me to put a slide in a presentation mode because of the way the Zoom is set up. So I'll be talking about positioning your business for oil and gas contracts. I'll just give a brief introduction of myself. I worked in a Baker Hughes from the field down to coordinating billing and collection and sales. And I would like to say, as earlier said by Mrs. Tolulange, I'm a science student. I read mathematics. I didn't read, I always wanted to read engineering, but I didn't get the privilege to do that. But, somehow I found myself back, I didn't know that a science student, a STEM student can work in the oil industry, but I got the opportunity and that's how I joined the upstream sector. I have about 15 years worth experience in sales and operations in the upstream sector. After about 10 to 12 years with BKUs, I resigned and I joined a longtime colleague to co-own his he was already in existence since I think 2020, but I joined him in 2022. He was willing to give me 50% of the company, and I didn't want to own the company alone. I think I will come to that part, but I needed to. I knew my strength as a salesperson, and I knew his strength as an operations person. So I wanted to also have time for myself and my family. So I didn't want to own the company alone. My mentor always said, 50% of $100 million is bigger than 100% of $10 million. So, that has always been my mindset in terms of partnership and collaboration. So we collaborated and he was willing to relinquish 50% of his shares. And that was how we became co-owners. Sorry, he started the establishment in 2017 before I joined him in 2022. So, but we became really operational in 2021. Across the NEPRC NCE permits, we have permits across all boards, from drilling to MWD, LWD, to fluids, down to perforation, wireline, cementing, a lot, just almost everything about the upstream sector. And the reason is because we've been lucky to have a very good partnership with the technical partners, the big four currently in Nigeria and the ones that are not in Nigeria. We've been able to get a partnership to supply their equipment, and they also support us in terms of services. So when we have a job and we go to the field, two of my personnel go to the field and maybe 2 or 3 of their personnel go to the field. So that in that way, we are also able to build our personnel, so that they can run these jobs on their own in the future. Opportunities for women in energy, oil and gas. Now we know that the president is trying to increase production to 2 million barrels per day. We also know that a lot of companies, marginal field operators, have been given to sometime next year to explore and drill the field that they've been assigned. So right now there's a rush. People are looking for drilling rigs. A lot of companies need to at least drill one well. If not, the license will be taken from them. So there's from now to the next 5 years, or will I say till the second term of the president, there's going to be increase in production. And also knowing that Oando purchase went well, there's also increase in that aspect. There's a tender currently going on for 11 wells for Oando currently, and that's a lot of opportunity where we women can play in as well. So the sector is evolving and creating a lot of opportunities for us, women-owned and women-led. The opportunities are there in the upstream sector, midstream and downstream. There is no way that there will be opportunities in the upstream. It starts from the upstream. After the upstream is completed, there must be opportunities in the midstream and the downstream sector. So there's a lot of opening there for us to harness. Now, I'll be talking more of the upstream sector because that's where my strength is. I'm not, that's my baby. I'm not, I've never had opportunity to be in the midstream or downstream sector. In the upstream sector, you have different levels of jobs. You have the ones that are highly technical, you have the mid-level jobs, and you have the non-technical jobs. So for the ones that are highly technical, you cannot execute them on your own. You must partner with these multinationals. The OEMs and the likes of Schlumberger, Halliburton, Weatherford, Baker Hughes, Expro, Cameron, MI Nigeria. There are a lot of them out there. You must have that partnership before you can work with them. And based on our Nigerian regulation, all onshore is land jobs and swamp jobs must be in partnership with the local content company. It's only offshore jobs that they are allowed to go on their own. But even at that, some of them also see the need to go with the locals as well for offshore. I had one opportunity where Halliburton had to support me for an offshore intervention job. They didn't have to do that, but they understood the industry and they wanted to also get the locals to play in that field. Then for the mid-level jobs, these are jobs where maybe you've gotten a bit of experience and you can do them on your own. You don't need the multinationals to partner with you. Jobs like well testing, location preparation is just like a kind of if you have done construction before, road construction, you can do location preparation. You have waste evacuation. You have produced the water management. Even IT. Equipment rentals, things like forklifts, cranes, and the rest. Crude evacuation, these are the things that you don't need a lot of experience or you've gathered a bit of experience in this field and you can do it on your own. Then in non-technical jobs like logistics, you have land and marine, you have trucks, you have barges, you have tugboats, speedboats, gunboats. You have a lot of different types of boats that you partner with people who already own it. You don't even have to spend a lot of money to go and buy it. You can partner with a company already there, and all you just need to do is collect your markup. Then you have catering. Anybody any catering person can. Or a caterer can serve in the oil industry. Then procurement, you have manpower supply, you have different aspects of consultation, training. They even have a media and event planning for their companies, manpower supplies, internet installation, AGO supply, water supply. These things do not need you to be technically inclined, or neither do you need to partner with anybody to do them. So these are just a few. Then challenges women face. We have difficulty, like in terms of difficulty securing jobs due to limited experience or visibility. If you don't have experience, somebody may not be able to give you the opportunity. And if you're not visible, if you don't have a company name, if you're not registered, when the opportunity comes, it will be too late to go and start doing all that registration and having your statutory documents. Then you have lack of connection or networks, in a male-dominated field, people like we women who are not able to be out there 1 a.m., 2 a.m. when the guys are closing deals. So that's also a challenge, except if maybe your husband is an understanding person or you're a single person, woman, it's easy for you to do those late night movements and, build that connection. Lagos and Abuja is where I know that you can just be out in 30 minutes talking to the right person and you land yourself a contract. Then navigating complex government regulations and certifications requirements. Ogochukwu will talk a little more about this, but for you to be well aligned and ready to go, you must be able to understand these any PRC permits, NCEC documents, and those regulations that you need, so that when opportunity comes, you just, you are available to, send your company details out, and, you can get a job. Other challenges are lack of mentor to guide and support, you in the right direction. For you to succeed in this industry, you need the right person, the right mentor to, talk you through or guide you through these processes. Then, for those of us who are not actively participating in our communities, we don't come out for events, we don't travel for conferences, nobody's going to see you or your company in your bedroom. You need to be able to come out there and show yourself, for people to see you and know you. Then finance, is also a challenge. You may need money to be able to get your documents that you need to renew yearly. Apart from that, what if you get a job to supply AG or 1 million liter every month? That's a lot of money. How do you get that? So that's also a challenge. Then sexual harassment as well. Even when you're married, these men can be very funny, so it's one of the things that we face out there. Then godfatherism, it has its good side and bad side, but it's one of the things that also play in the industry. Then politicians who are not in the oil and gas industry, they've never worked in the field. When I mean the field, they've never worked in both upstream, midstream, or downstream sector, be it in the office. They are just politicians. They become they now understand this industry, and they've opened their company names and assigning jobs to themselves. So they're coming into play, and that competition is becoming stiff. For us who do not have that political, from the top, you can have access to a lot of things that we cannot, we women would not have that a platform, we cannot have that access to those jobs. Then also fear of the unknown. People are very comfortable in their space. Before I resigned, that there's another story to why I resigned, but I wouldn't want to say that this platform. But I think if that did not happen, would I have left? Maybe not. So at times, some things need to happen for us to take that decision to, like, okay, I need to go. But I understand what it means to have a good pay. You are earning about 2-3 million a month, that taking care of your HMO, you have access to travel for trainings, you feel, the company have a way of just tying you down. You buy shares, you feel like, oh, I'm good to go. So people don't want to lose that, the fear of, just leaving. And truthfully, you have to, when you leave, you have to face some challenges, within 1 or 2 years. That monthly salary is not coming. So that's one of the issues that we women face. Then wanting to do it alone, a lot of people feel that it is, oh, I may get the company, MDCU, I'm alone, I'm the 100, I have 100% shares. At times, it does not work like that in this industry. You need to collaborate with people. You know your strengths. You can collaborate with someone. Maybe you have the connection. You're good in sales. Somebody else is good in operations. Somebody else is good in maybe you have some connect in viewings and all that. So 3, 4, 5, 10 people can come together. A lot of the marginal field companies that we have today are all eggshell owners, and they started very early. They came together to do things, and that's where men, really strive more than us women. We women, we don't really know how to come together to collaborate. So this is something that we women face in this industry. Then solutions for success. How do you overcome these challenges? Find a mentor. A mentor would help you guide you through these processes, share industry insights, even at times open opportunities for you. For example, 2 days before I resigned, I went to someone who was not even my mentor. He does not know me. I don't know that I knew him, but he didn't know me. I just sent him a text message and told him I needed to have a 30-minute section with him, and he invited me to Lagos. I went to Lagos, saw him, we spoke. After 30 minutes, he told me, yeah, you can resign, and I give you 2 years, but you need 2 years to face challenges. So your husband needs to be able to help you within that 2 years to take care of you and the family. But he said, oh, within 2 years, I know you're going to break even. And after that, I went back to him, after I came back, resigned, and he gave me some complimentary cards to some places. And, most of my jobs today is from that connection, So I didn't know him. I didn't have a personal relationship with him, but I was able to overcome that fear and take the bold step. That only two things. Is that you're going to help me or not going to help me? Is that a yes or a no? So if it's a no, then good. If it's a yes, then I think we're on the right track, and glory be to God for that. So I think you just to find the right person that would just keep trying. You may send a message to one person, they don't answer, keep trying. I think you will get the right person that would help you through that part. Then build strong networks and connections, attend industry events, conferences, network. Weog is a very good platform. A lot of time we call for meetings, people don't come, conferences, people don't show up. Like I said, it's going to be difficult for you to show yourself and sell yourself in such in such an environment where you meet a lot of people. So then, join other organizations as well. A lot more there. SP is a very is a general one that's also very good. Then learn about certifications and regulations, the things that you need to know, invest your money, instead of going at times, I'm not saying it's bad, but at times a lot of us take our money to go and invest in lands, property, and just sit and wait, For me, I don't see that, for me personally, I'm not saying it's wrong, I rather take that money to, invest in what do you call it, this certifications, hoping and pushing, knowing that one day is going to pay off. Then stay up to date to the government regulation, the changes, the compliance standards. Once in a while, maybe they do some changes. You need to be able to know when it's happening so that you can, pay for it and be up to date. Then collaborate and form partnerships. Within this group, we're a lot, we're almost 200 or 300 members, if not more. We can, come together and know our strengths and weaknesses, and, talk to 1, 2, 3 people. 3 people can come together, open a company name, contribute money, and get your regulation, your certificate documents, and all you need, so you don't need to bear the burden alone. You bear the risk together, you bear the finance together, and you bear the profits and the gains together. Next, under the same solutions, Nexim Bank, in partnership with NCDMB, has some facilities, for women-owned and women-led businesses. You can access up to $500,000. If you are going to take the dollar, it's going to be 5% per annum. If you're going to take the equivalent in Naira, is 8% per annum. You can that money can go towards invoice discounting. If you have a contract, they can give you that money to supply, before the company pays you, and it's not stressful. You just need to provide proof of the job and, your documents, your CAC regulatory documents and the rest, just the two forms application, and you're good to go. Then for equipment purchase, about $1 million for, you can have that money for 3 years. Also 5% for food dollar value, and 8% for Naira equivalent. So you can, get the money, buy equipment, supply, sell, keep paying your 5% per annum remittance to them while you are making profit on the $1 million for 3 years. So that's a very good one. I was able to talk to the woman like 2 days ago, and she even told me that working on increasing the value, because a lot of people are complaining that the money is too small for those whose projects are going into millions. So that they're looking at increasing the value for us, So it's a, if for whatever reason, if you're scared of having your own company, or how do you want to get money, this is it. This is the solution to that. Then my experience, I've said a lot about my experience. I faced some challenges. I was able to overcome them. I left Baker. I got a mentor. My mentor paved way for me. And one of the advice someone gave to me, this person is a key person in Aliburton. He said, "Oh, Sandra, you don't need to be in every company. You know, you don't need to be in Total, Chevron, Seplat, Ajib to get jobs. Just focus on one. Just choose one of the company. If it's Seplat you want to face, or Exxon or Total, just dedicate 2 years of your time to that company, and plant your foot, build that foundation, so that even if you don't go there in the next 1 year, you've already built your connection. They will always call you for jobs. You know how the system is when their job come up on NIPEX portal. You can have that partnership. And also these technical partners, they have more than 100 200 local companies coming to them to partner. So you can't be giving them jobs in every company. No, they need to they will ask you who is your strongest customer. So you have to focus on that one, start from that one. Then after a while, you start moving to other companies. So I was able to overcome, I took all the advice, and for 2 years, I didn't really do a lot. I was just doing house tendering and, winning jobs, and, but I have not executed anyone until just recently. And that was exactly 2 years, as my mentor said, so it will surely happen, but, there's always a preparation time, and, patience is really key. Then lessons learned, like I said, you always face a sexual harassment challenges, just if you're me, I just what did I do? I started going to Rema, a Bible school, to know God more, to try and just hold strong to my faith, to help you navigate, because it's not going to be easy. You can't do it by your power nor by your might. At times it's really tempting, so you need God to really help you in that aspect to overcome that challenge. We have other success stories, a lot of women inspiring women that I look up to. People like Mrs. Folorosha Alakija, she's the owner of OML 127. There's a tender currently going on for Chevron. That job is in partnership with a Star Deep company. That's her job. So she's whenever I see her, she's just I tell myself, she don't get 10 head, she has 1 head. So I look up to her. Also, Mrs. Catherine Uju, she's the owner of Britain IU and OML 90. And there are a lot more out there that inspire me and should also inspire you to want to come into this field. Then you need perseverance, you need just strategy, you need to take calculated risk. It is okay to remain where you are, to be a woman-led business, but at that point you can discuss with the owner of the company, and you can talk about, oh look, I can get you, why don't you put me as a board of director or something? I can get you jobs, give me shares. You can sit down and negotiate at that high level, and get more for yourself. And in summary, this is the time. It's never too late. The younger, the better. Just take the right decision and take the right step. And I think you would overcome whatever fears that you have. And also for someone like me, when I was in Baker, I knew Baker was talking about living, especially during COVID 2019, they had a lot of headcount, a lot of capex. They needed to reduce those costs. And, most of these companies, Schlumberger, Halliburton, all of them, they are more of manufacturing companies. A lot of companies, even myself, I buy equipment from their manufacturing direct. So you don't even need them in Nigeria to buy the equipment, but you would, because they're more than 300, 400 years old. They've grown so much in R&D, and you cannot overtake them in terms of manufacturing. We can't manufacture. It's going to even be difficult for us to assemble, in Nigeria. So what can you do? You can buy from the manufacturing plant, and you can have a service agreement where you can send your personnel to your, training facilities. They can give you their rental service tools. They can support you from afar. I think recently there's a technology where, they can send their drilling tools to the rig, and the rig company in the rig can drill the well, and they will be supporting you from US direct. You don't need the engineer to be on location to run that, to drill the well. So if they're getting to that point, that means there's a space for us to localize. When I mean localize, the multinationals are leaving. MPN is sold. Ajip has sold. They're going to leave and move towards the offshore, but the land and the swamp is there for us to come in. So we are the next future of the servicing company. You need to place yourself in such a way that tomorrow, if Schlumberger needs to leave, you will be one of the companies that are going to say, oh, that company has done so well. I think we can choose this company to represent us in Nigeria where we go. So that's where in the next 5 years, I think a lot of them will start considering that. And NCDMB is doing a good job in trying to localize us as well. Also lastly, Weog is here to support you. Weog has a lot of talented women in different fields and sectors. Weog has a mentorship program that you can, onboard, and, to be able to get a mentor to, teach you and help you navigate this path. Thank you. So I don't take a lot of your time. Thank you so much. And I hope you understood the presentation. Hello?
Sandra, excellent presentation.
Okay, so I think the next person will be Ogochukwu. Hello, Ogochukwu. Ogochukwu will be taking us on navigating statutory documents, certifications, and other requirements. She'll be talking about the guidance on obtaining necessary certificates and licenses, overview of corporate affairs process, tips on compliance, bidding and partnership formation. Ogochukwu.
Okay, I think our network is affecting the flow.
Okay. All right. Okay, we should unmute what's her name? Tesiri. Okay, admin, please unmute Tesiri. She can use Tesiri's laptop to present. She's having issues with her network. Ogochukwu Tesiri, right? Hello, admin. Hello. Hello, presidents. Please, we need admin to unmute Tesiri. She's in the same space with Ogochukwu.
Tesiri.
Yes, Tesiri. So she can use Tesiri's
Okay, you can mute Tesiri back. I'm back now.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Please confirm that you all can see my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Yes.
my name is Ogochukwu Okekbolo. I'm the Director, Women in Energy, Oil and Gas, Delta State Chapter, and the Executive Director, Corporate Services for Biosense Resources Limited. And I'm presenting on statutory documentation for the oil and gas business in Nigeria, compliance with regulatory framework. I'm starting from my other speakers, Engineer Longe and Mrs. Sandra has spoken a lot, and I'm going to write on the existing protocols. When you have decided that you want to do oil and gas business, which is where Weog is, encouraging women to launch into oil and gas business, you have to do one thing. Say you can't make progress unless you plan, and strategy is key. The first thing is corporate affairs registration. For any company you are going to work in, they are going to ask you for your CAC registration number. CAC is the Corporate Affairs Commission. That's giving life to your dream, giving life to your company. It's like betting your company. So I'm going to discuss what you need to register a company in Nigeria. The Corporate Affairs Commission is charged with regulating the registration of companies in Nigeria. And for you to register any company in Nigeria, the first thing you need is a valid ID, identifying the people that will register the company. You know, a company is a legal entity, but behind a legal entity is human beings that gives it life and spirit. So you will need a valid ID of yourself if you are going in as a sole director. Currently, one human being, you yourself and you can actually register a company without any other directors, like Mrs. Sandra said. So you are a sole director in your company, you own 100% shares. If you decide to do that, you will need a valid ID of yourself. You will need to register your home address, register an identity, like an identity address for, it is called your registered business address. The first place of registration where your office is going to take off from. So you have a registered office address. It is documented with CAC. So before you are deciding on registering a company, you have to have your ID, a valid ID for yourself. It can be an international passport, it can be NIN, it can be a voter's card, but I will advise NIN. You need other documentation needed from you will be your date of birth. Then we'll talk about the shareholding matrix. If you are not the sole shareholder, that means that somebody else, let me give an example. I and Sandra and Dr. Duni and Khadijat, we want to open a company. We are going to decide, okay, out of the 3 of us, 4 of us, how many percent goes to this person? Oh, we want it like an even partnership. So 4 of us, we have 25% shares each. Or we decide, oh, Khadija has a lot of connection and the rest, and putting her as a majority shareholder will give credibility to my organization. So we say, oh, Khadija is going to have 50%. I will have 20%. Sandra will have 30%, making 100%. Those are the things that you decide before you go to the CAC. Then you are going to decide on what your company is going to be into. We call it memorandum and article of association. You are going to decide what line of businesses, like Engineer Longe has elaborated to us. There are different lines of businesses that you can actually do in the oil and gas sector. Oh, where is our strength? You can decide this based on the strength of the shareholders and the directors. Oh, Sandra's strength is on wells, because of her experiences in Baker Hughes and the rest. So, oh, we decide we are going to register a company, and one of our memorandum of association is we are going to be involved in well services, first line maintenance, second line maintenance, coil tubing, slick line, this, that. And okay, oh, Dr. Duni has some affiliations with some equipment manufacturers in the US, and say, oh, supply of this equipment, that equipment, this equipment, that equipment. Oh, Khadija has connections with community relations and the rest because of her experiences and the rest. And we say, oh, community engagement and babysitting and the rest. We add it. Oh, somebody has connection with somebody's brother or sister is into big time lifting of AGO or PMS and the rest. And we add, oh, supply and the supply of PMS, AGO, and the rest. It becomes part of our MEMAT. And somebody, oh, I still have a connection with somebody who has trucks for supply. We say, oh, we will do logistics, this, that. Okay. So after that, we have decided that our companies are into this. They form our article memorandum of association. So we contact a lawyer, or you can actually do it yourself. Go to the website. They are going to say, oh, what is this company registered for? You are going to state that, because when it comes to bidding for jobs, they are going to check your articles and memorandum of association to ensure that the jobs you are interested in bidding for are actually captured in your statutory documentation. The aim, your memorandum and article of association says that you are in line of this job. Well, if you already have a business registered and some of the businesses you are interested in now, you don't have them registered in your memorandum of association, because maybe when you were registering, you are not as exposed, you are not as experienced as you are now. You can actually go back to the CAC and do an alter your memorandum of association to include some jobs that you are now interested in, you have built capacity on, because most times this can actually disqualify you from the technical level. They can see, oh, this person is bidding for a job in drilling. There is no drilling in her article and memorandum of association, and you are thrown out before even going to your commercial. Everything I am itemizing now is actually what companies screen for when you say, oh, technical assessment. For every job that comes out, they will assess you technically, and technical assessment has to do with all these certifications to ensure that you have the certificates for you to actually bid for this job. If you don't have the certificates in place and everything, no job will be given to you, even though you can actually do it.
I got a quick one, please. Your slide is not moving.
It's not moving. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see slideshow. Why network is just so messed up today. Okay, so my content: business registration documents, operational licenses, regulatory approvals, environmental and safety documents, financial and technical documents, local content requirements, other statutory requirements. Can we move it? Is my slideshow working?
No, go ahead there. Don't use slideshow. Just use your arrow. Don't use slideshow.
Okay. Okay. So starting an oil and gas business in Nigeria requires compliance with several statutory documentation. This is what I have said so far. I have talked about CAC for legal incorporation. CAC, legal incorporation, is that you are giving life to your company. It becomes a legal entity that is suable and can be sued, that can do a business and can be sued for breach of whatever. So obtaining the necessary permits from the Department of Petroleum Resources. Now it's no more Department of Petroleum Resources. It is Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. NUPRC permits is what we call it now. We have, you have to adhere to all the regulatory requirements for you to do business. We have financial regulations, which is done by the Federal Inland Revenue Service for tax purposes. You have NESRA for if your business has to do with environmental impact, like cleanup and all those stuff. You need compliance with NESRA and the rest. So business registration documents, we have your certificate of incorporation. You have a business name, you have tax identification number. Every registered business, you need your tax identification number. So after registration with CAC on incorporation, providing every other thing I have told you about, the next thing you do is you register it with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and you get a tax identification number. Then, depending on your line, some people enter into oil and gas with in a very grand style. So you have your oil exploration licenses. If you are entering into exploration, you have oil prospective licenses, which is the OPL, and you have oil mining lease, which is the OMLs, and you have the marginal field licenses. You need these two for the different degrees of your engagement in the oil and gas industry. And we have regulatory approvals. We have Department of Petroleum Resources. This is wrong. I'm using an old slide. We have a DPRO now that we used to know is Nigerian Petroleum Regulatory Commission. They call it the commission. And we have the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. You call it the authority. They are the ones involved in the regulation of the business, oil and gas business, depending on the stream that you are working on. Are you working your services on the midstream or the downstream or the upstream? These are the regulators. Then we have the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, the NCDMB. You have to register as a local, as an indigenous company. And for companies who are international companies coming into Nigeria, you as a local company having this NCDMB actually gives you a leverage for partnership to other companies. Then we have the environmental and safety documents. You have environmental impact assessment. Depending on the kind of job you want to do, you may need to have environmental impact assessment before. If you are going into modular refinery and the rest, you need these environmental impact assessment. You have the environmental management plan, you have the safety management plan, you have the OSP contingency plan, if you are doing jobs that may need to spill or contamination of the environment. Then we have the financial and technical documentation. You have the financial capacity report. I skipped a bit. After your registration, CAC registration, you go to CAC, you go to FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, you go to a bank and open a bank account, a corporate bank account for your company, because most businesses that you look for, most contracts you will look for, you will need a letter from your bank saying that you have the financial capacity or they are willing to support you. Peradventure, you get a job of so tone. Sometimes your financial capacity report may, if there is a job of $1 million you are bidding for or $50 million you are bidding for, your bank can actually give you a cover letter showing that you have the financial capacity. They are there to support you. Then we have the technical competence report. Most times, this technical competence report has to do with some jobs. They will now tell you that, oh, let's have the CVs of let's have the organogram of your staff for a particular job. Is showing that, oh, you have the engineers who are registered, who are competent, who have done similar jobs, and you are able to. These are done to build the confidence of the person giving you a job, that if this job actually goes to this person, you have documentary support showing that, this person is capable and will be able to deliver this job. Then we have the insurance certificates. You have liability, third-party insurances, motor vehicle for your equipment and for your workers. Most times, most Nigerian businesses don't like doing this, but one fire breakout can burn an equipment that your business is just short for life. So sometimes it's the day you do pay for an insurance or provide an insurance cover that is expensive. If there is any incident, that insurance can come and cover you. I remember a company within Delta State lost about 7 members of their team in a job site. That incident alone would have closed that company, but all of them had life insurances. The insurance company provided for the burial of all the staff and paid all compensation to the workers. The ship or the vessel they were in, the insurance company paid and bought a new vessel for them. So most times the day you have an incident is when you know that insurance is not a joke. Insurance is actually needed. So insurance certificates are actually very, very important. You can be disqualified if you don't have a group life insurance, you don't have third-party insurance, you don't have equipment insurance or vehicle insurance for your vehicles and the equipments required for a job that you are bidding for. These are all statutory, technical, and financial documents that you require to do business in the oil and gas sector. Then I go to the local content requirements. You have the Nigerian content plan. That is why Weog is here for you. And I feel that most of us are not actually utilizing this platform. The local content compliance certificate is processed in with NCDMB. And we have members who are in NCDMB in Weog. And I think that we've not had time to actually connect with each other to know where we can support each other and help each other. That is what Weog is all about. Women in energy, oil, and gas. So support each other. My beautiful Khadija Jekine, I don't know whether I'm getting your name correctly. She is in NCDMB. You can make inquiry on how you can register your company in NCDMB. If her department is not involved in that, she can actually walk to her colleague and say, oh, this is my friend, this is my sister, please help her facilitate this and the rest. The next thing is other statutory documentation. We have National Data Repository, NDR registration. You need this if you are bidding for these gas flare commercialization projects and the rest. Then Petroleum Industrial Bill compliance, you need to be aware of what the PIA is actually, PIB and PIA is actually about, so that whatever your business is, you are in line with, you are in compliance with the regulations that Nigeria has put in place. The relevant laws and regulations, we have the Petroleum Act, we have the Petroleum Drilling and Production Regulations, we have Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act, we have the Environmental Impact Assessment Act, and the rest. In conclusion, we say navigating Nigeria's oil and gas industry requires strict adherence to statutory documentation and regulatory compliance. Understanding key documents and regulations ensure seamless operations, reduce risks, transparency, and accountability. Economic growth prioritizes compliance and regulatory excellence for success in this dynamic industry. For your permits, you get a permit depending on the kind of job that you want to. We have the minor category for NUPRC permits. The minor permits are actually not up to 10,000 per permit. You have the major category. Those ones are 25,000. Then we have the specialized category for the permit. That goes for 250,000 for the permit. Then the portal charges and the rest takes it to about 257,000 and a fraction. For the major category, portal charges takes it up from 25,000 to 27,500 and the rest. And other documentary requirements I didn't talk about, you have your NSITF. It is statutory for every company. In fact, for you to get a DPR permit, you need the NSITF. NSITF permit, NSITF certificate. NSITF is Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund. This is like you as an employer of labor, ensuring that your workers are covered. Peradventure, there is an accident that leads to the loss of their life or loss of a vital part of their body that impairs their productivity. You don't say, oh, your leg is not working now, just go home, go to their family and pay condolence of 100,000, that is it. If they are insured throughout their lifetime, they are going to be paid. If they die as a result of work incident, which we do not pray for, the insurance is going to pay their families for 25 years, ensuring that, oh, even if anything happens and your workers lose their life by the cause of your business activities, their family don't suffer, their generation don't suffer. God forbid, it's not a risk management technique. God forbid, it will not happen to me. It's not a risk management. All these NSITF is part of managing your risk because the oil and gas sector is actually a very high risk industry. Then other things that you will need for registration is a retainership hospital. It doesn't really take much. Get a hospital that is close to your base, your operational base, so that if there's any incident, you know, within 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes drive from your operation, latest 1 hour drive from your location of operation, there is an hospital that attends to your workers or any person who is involved in any incident within your work site. So you go get a retainership hospital. You can get a retainership hospital as low as 50,000 naira. They will give you a certificate of retainership. You use this for tendering. They are required documentation for tendering. Then you can have, if your organization is bigger, you can have your HMO in place. HMO is Health Maintenance Organization. We have a lot of them. You pay a particular fee, and anytime any member of your team are sick or need something, they can. It actually gives your company a higher rating. Then you have, you get an auditor. Your auditor helps you with some statutory stuff that are needed for you to bid for a job and work like a serious-minded business person in the oil and gas sector. For a fresh company, you actually need an auditor because they will give you a statement of affairs and process a tax clearance. You don't need to have started a business before you get a tax clearance. You can get a tax clearance of nil return. You are yet to, but at least it shows that you are aware of what you need to do what you need to do as a business owner. You have the annual returns. This is what many people make a mistake for. If you don't file annual returns for 3 years, you have, maybe you go for a meeting and somebody wants to verify you. They do a search on you on CAC. Your status will be showing what do they call this thing? It shows that you are not alive, that your company is not alive. Your company is dormant. So every year, whether you have done a business with your company name or not, go and file. Talk to your auditor, go and file for a new return. A new return. You didn't make any money, they will give you. So CAC keeps updating. This company is alive and working to get a job. But if you don't do nothing, they are going to categorize your company as company who are dormant, and nothing will come to you except you revive this. Then we have the quality documents that you need. We have the quality documents, quality policies. As you set up your business, you are going to need different kinds of policy. You have the quality policy, you have the environmental policy, you have the manpower policy, you have your core values as an organization, you have your mission statement, you have your vision statement, you have your governance structure. Me, myself, and I organization will not earn you a lot of jobs or bring you into the limelight. Me, myself, and I means if anybody pays your money into your account and you die tomorrow, that money is lost for life. But when you have a governance structure, if you are not there, there is a continuity or sustainability plan. People are more comfortable to do business with you. Guess what? Many people that will want, you go for an international conference and an international organization wants to partner with you, they want to go and check your governance structure. Who checks you as the MD of your company? Do you pass any information that comes to you? Is there a body? Do you have a board of directors that can actually advise on this? A very thriving company has entered into the hand of 419ers and came to zero. A company that was having a turnover of nothing less than about 10 billion every year went into extinct. Why? Just one wrong investment. Some people package themselves with big suits and the rest and said, oh, they can sell him a marginal field and the rest. And before you know, he went ahead, it was looking so juicy and the rest. He didn't go, there was no governance structure. He could move money from his account at will. There was nobody to check, and before they knew, all the money of the company has moved into the account of the people, and lines were not going through. The office address that they showed him that they've had meeting and the rest, everything was falsehood. So it is good that we have a governance structure. Put something in your account for your own safety. Learn your own account. You alone cannot sign an amount that is higher than a particular amount without a particular signature. For a corporate account that has only one A signatory and no B signatories and the rest, for compliance and verification and governance compliance, they are going to flag you. You are not a right candidate for collaboration. So we have other things that shows that you're a standard company. You can register your company with ISO, International Organization for Standardization. You can get your certification as an ISO compliant. We have ISO 9001:2015. That is the quality management system, showing that all your systems, you have a system in place, whether you're around or not around, your organization can work and all those stuff. It actually boosts your technical rating when they are rating you. I told us that we have a technical criteria for every bid that comes. All the businesses that submit a bid, all of them are interested in this job. These are the documentation and the criteria that can give you a point and bring you to the table. Then we have the current. You can actually, if you are providing engineering services, you can actually have a corporate current for your organization. And you can only have a corporate current in your organization if you have a current what do I say? An engineer as a member of your director. In fact, for you to have a current license, you have to have current registered engineers controlling a major share in your company. And that is why putting your company together, you have to be extra strategic. And that is why you have to open your eyes and engage in meaningful discussion, meaningful engagement, meaningful connection. You are connected with an engineer. You are not an engineer yourself. You can discuss with the person, bring the person in as an engineer, bring them into your CAC. And with that person's engineering license, you can actually use it to bid for a lot of jobs. It gives you a strategic advantage if you have a current registered engineer as a member of your team, if you are operating oil and gas industry. So for every interaction we do, as we move forward in establishing our business for continuity, for growth, and for sustainability, we should think the people that we have in our organization actually give the organization a lot of boost and give the organization a lot of recognition. Be strategic. Bring in an electrical engineer, bring in a mechanical engineer, bring in a civil engineer. Give them shares in your company. Their CVs alone will boost the rating of your company. I want to end here. Weog, we have a lot of people who can. I'm actually a certified management consultant, and for statutory documentation, registration of companies, and the rest. I do this for a lot of companies, providing support for them. I guide companies in getting their professional, corporate current for the organization. I do that. So we are actually here to help each other grow. We are actually here to promote ourselves. What Weog is all about is women empowerment. But we don't want to empower trash. We want to empower when we are giving a recommendation to a company. The recommendation, if Dr. Duni is writing a recommendation and he sees, oh, the company they are even recommending is women owned, is current certified, it has ISO compliant, it has all the NUPRC permits and the rest. You know, you have a bragging right. People can recommend you easily and the rest, because most of the people you want to meet for help don't even want to breach the laws that they have put in place in the oil and gas industry. So compliance is key. It's actually the first thing. Technical assessment is the first thing every company does before they go and open, whether your pricing is lower or better than the rest. If you don't have all these technical documentation, according to medical people, you say you are dead on arrival. You are just going to be pushed aside and nobody contacts you. Another partnership you can get that I've not talked about. For technical, you can actually be an existing company and you have a job that you need to tender for and you don't have the expertise. You can actually partner with another company. You are just a year old, your company is just a year old, you are just 2 years old, and there is a big job that you know you can be able to pull off. You can actually go partner with companies that have done it, that have the required documentation, and you form a partnership. It's just a technical partnership. So everything that counts for, you are now riding on the experience of your technical partner to bid for a job. You are riding on their experiences. You are riding on their certifications. You are riding. If I don't have current and my technical partners have a current certificate, it counts in my favor. If I don't have an ISO, but my technical partners have ISO, it counts in my favor. If I don't have equipment, but my technical partners have all the equipment I need for this job, it counts in my favor. So like we said, we grow from one step to the other, but the dynamics in the oil and gas industry is not where one person goes alone. But as we do partnership, we should be strategic. Let's have partnership that works in our favor and launches us further to the achievement of our dreams than to partner with people that will not take us anywhere. I'll end here. Thank you so much, Dr. Sandra Ekbe, Dr. Duni Owo, Kadijat, Engineer Tolulonge for this opportunity. I end here waiting for questions. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Okochukwu. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I believe our members are ready to go. The next person on the agenda is Mrs. Khadija Jekini, Chairperson Capacity Building and Training. We yield the floor to you, ma'am. So she'll be talking on she'll open the forum for participants to ask questions to if you have any question for all the speakers, moderate so that we can have a good coordinated question and answer section. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, panelists. Good morning, participants. So far, my fellow panelists, they've done a great job. I want to appreciate you all. Like I said, I work with NCDMB, and I would just, you guys, you've said it all. It's just for me to buttress on some little issues, and then if you have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer. Like the last panelist said, and Sandra too, I think collaboration is the way forward because, like they said, no man is an island. We can't do it on our own. We need to come together and be a stronger force. We need to collaborate. If you have any issues with getting certifications or getting registration done, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to, anyone here, and we will guide you. So with that said, I await questions from panelists or anyone in the house. Thank you. Also, there's something I would like to mention. When we have conferences or events, it's actually a great opportunity for you to network, get to meet people. You never can tell what that network will lead to. Now, for NCDMB, we have some events that we do. We have like the PNC coming up in December. That's like an annual thing. And then we have the NOGOF, Nigerian Land Gas Fair. That is done every 2 years. So the last one was done last year. So there'll be none this year till next year. So I would implore you all to try and attend the upcoming PNC event, which is in December. The dates and venue and time will be sent out soon. As in, if you're someone that is frequent with checking in on our website, you will see it there. We'll advertise it too, you know, on TVs and papers, you know, things like that. Thank you. I await questions from the participants. I don't know if maybe their speakers are muted from our end. If we can unmute so they can speak and ask questions.
They are supposed to
Or you
put
can
their
even type on the
questions in
box.
Q&A, yes. All
No.
questions should be in the Q&A. It's a webinar.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so while we're waiting for the question, Mrs. Khadija, can you invite President to take our section, the closing section, then maybe the questions will have dropped, then you can now proceed. So I don't wait.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Without any further ado, I'd like to invite our national president, Dr. Duni. Thank you so much. You've been an inspiration to us all. You've been a driving force for me. I would like to invite you for the closing remarks. The floor is yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy weekend, everyone, and good morning. This is early morning nugget for all of us, and basically is to catch those that are planning to do Owambe, you know, early before they start going out for the Owambe. We had the option of either making it morning or evening, and we just felt morning would be much better. Please, while I'm speaking, if you have any question clarification, remarks, comments, please feel free to put it in the chat box, and then it will be attended to. And if you want it answered by specific panelists, either Engineer Tolu, Mrs. Sandra, or Mrs. Ogochukwu, please also feel free to probably specifically mention who you would want to answer your question. I'd like to particularly say a big thank you to our erudite panelists for making out time of their very busy schedule, and for some that are even not in Nigeria, they are totally out of Nigeria. For instance, Engineer Tolu is in America, and she's having to wake up. I think the time should be around 4 a.m. thereabouts, you know, where she is. So this is sacrificial, and we take it not for granted. We really appreciate it. I know one or two other persons that are also not currently in our time zone. Thank you very much for making out time to share this knowledge. I particularly enjoy the time taken by Engineer Tolu to, you know, mention all those opportunities right from the high echelon, the medium, and even the shop floor opportunities that people can key into. And that's actually very, very important point, because I was doing a review, you know, a back-end review of some of the guys that are really like doing interestingly well, you know, in the industry. And I realized that, guess what? Some of these guys were even my clients at one point. So let me give a typical example. There's an organization called DB Mangal. DB Mangal is an unlearned man that didn't even go to school, that started his business in this industry as a motor boy. If you know what a motor boy means, motor boy is somebody that joins a truck, maybe that is carrying petrol from Lagos to Abuja, Suleja, or Nasarawa or something. And from there, as at the time DB Manga was my client, it was our highest, it has the highest number of fleet in our system, of, you know, the organization I was with then. It had the highest number of fleet. And I remember when we processed his bill, we used to pay them twice a month. Processing his bill every 2 weeks, a loan runs to about 40 billion. I didn't say million, 40 billion. Yeah, that 40 billion, if I recall. Although, of course, by the time you now take all those expenses and what have you out of it. So it used to be such a huge amount, because what the man did that was spectacular was, while everybody had trucks that was a standard 3,000 liters truck, he went to wherever, you know, just by his business sense, and went and built 60,000, 70,000 tankers. So what somebody will move, you know, the volume somebody will move from Lagos to Abuja twice, he does it once. In fact, he does it once and even more. And because of that, it gave him a big leverage. If anybody has entered any airline called Max here, that man was able to grow his business from starting as a motor boy to one truck. Today is the owner of Max here. Another one is AA Rano. For those of us that are probably in the north, probably know AA Rano filling station. AA Rano also used to be one of the clients of the organization I worked with. I used to process it way back. All these things are not even up to, they're not even up to 25 years. I'm talking about 2005, thereabouts, 2004, 2005. AA Rano was also just a fleet owner, you know, in the downstream industry. Today, AA Rano owns, you know, investments in downstream, midstream, and even upstream. They all have their oil blocks. They're all churning out crude, you know. So it's no-brainer. The main message we want to pass across here is, whichever way, start somewhere. Not everybody will be entrepreneurs, which is why we have associations like Weog, where you can collaborate at whatever level. You can collaborate as equity partner. You can collaborate by just leveraging on your external affairs progress, you know, whichever way. But we all know that we can't really make the kind of change we really want to effect in a nation at a national or international level at just, there are levels you need to get to even as an employee before you can have a voice at the table. But the quickest and fastest way to get into that table is through entrepreneurship at whatever level, you know. So whichever way, let's just find a way to key into it, you know, and let's encourage other women as well. So I've given examples of those that started at shopest floor, if there's any English like that. Today we see Rain Oil, Gabriel Ogbeche. Gabriel Ogbeche used to also be one of the clients I used to service then. He was also in fact, he started as just as a fleet owner as well. Today, Gabriel Ogbeche has assets and investments in upstream, midstream, and downstream. If you see Rain Oil Station anywhere, I remember his very first station. As in, if I'm visualizing where that very first station, one tiny filling station that has maybe 1 or 2 pumps, you know. And at one point, just like Sandra was talking about collaboration, at one point he had to even brand that filling station under my company's name to be able to still maintain that business, so that it doesn't go out of business at one point. You know, so these are some of the, you know, things men in business in our industry have done. And looking at the other, I was also ruminating while preparing for this, you know, webinar. I was also ruminating on the women that are also high flyers in the industry. Guess what? They are not even engineers. I don't know who I was sharing that knowledge with. They are not even engineers. So look at Millennium Oil, Cecilia Umoren today. Cecilia Umoren is a lawyer, which is why Weog is an open organization. You don't have to be an engineer to be a member of. Just have an interest in the industry, in the energy value chain, in closing energy gap, in moving nation forward, in facilitating industry growth. Look at Britannia Yu, our keynote speaker at our last Lagos IWG, Mrs. Ifejika, Uju Ifejika. Uju Ifejika is a lawyer. She has a background in law as well. So if you even look at those that have been able to quickly, see the opportunities in the industry and cash in on it before marginal field and oil block has now become a general thing. There were people that were not even core, technical, but they saw the business opportunity and they keyed into it. So that said, it's an opportunity for all of us to just open up your mind and see where you can fit into in the industry, which is one of the reasons why we created that Google form. And we try to list as many job opportunity, contract opportunities. And we've heard from Mrs. Sandra as well. Her story is so amazing. She worked with Baker Hughes. She has a background in mathematics. I have a background in mathematics as well. A lot of people used to think I have a background in petroleum engineering. No, I have a background in mathematics, but I've done about 27 years in the industry. But by virtue of some of the works our organization are currently doing, that it's no-brainer. So just find yourself in the value chain, your passion points. Is it upstream? Is it midstream? Is it downstream? And then be ready and be serious. And that's exactly what Ogochukwu had also told us. You have to get all your documentation in place. We have, people like Ogochukwu, who is not just a certified management consultant, she's also an ambassador, eminent ambassador of the United Nations. So she understands all this, and she has even volunteered herself to, support and see how she can guide us through getting necessary documentation in place. Thank you very much for taking our time to talk through all those documents. My own session here is just to talk about the current opportunities that we have channeling through Weog. So a couple of months ago, the federal government of Nigeria decided that for the nation to actually move to its next level, it needs more women empowerment. But unlike the previous empowerment we've been seeing, where they will just say, oh yeah, women empowerment, all of you bring your account details, or come and collect Ashwebi, or oh, take bag of rice. That's not the kind of empowerment this government had claimed that they want to focus on. So they signed on a policy that focuses on, they call it women economic empowerment, focusing on what we call affirmative procurement. Affirmative procurement means every industry, every organization has a responsibility to ensure that, to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion in their supply chain, majorly focused on the procurement aspect. So in layman terms, that means for every contract they give out, there must be deliberate quota, if I may call it that, for women. Deliberate quota for DEI. So what it means is, if I'm giving out a contract for supply of diesel, for instance, I must deliberately call for women that have diesel trucks or that do diesel supply to also have a percentage. And then to show their level of seriousness, what they now did was to call on United Nations women, that's UN women, and gave them that responsibility to facilitate the implementation of that women economic empowerment program across Nigeria. And they had started several awareness sessions. And they had called organizations like Weog and some other women organizations to several court meetings to discuss how we can actually implement it. And one thing that Weog told them is, yeah, they were looking at commencing the implementation with the state government. So they had picked some states they want to start the pilots with, so Lagos State, FCT, and so on. But we had further told them that to actually see this really happen, because governance, political government is a soldier go, soldier come. However, they need to then also find a way to cascade it to industries. And I appreciate the fact that they, took that advice, and they are also looking at getting industry sectors also involved. So it's not just government thing, because government thing will probably to an extent limit it to only government contracts and government jobs. However, they had extended it to industries and also involved the presidency. So what this means is all these advocacies we are doing, all these outings, all these meetings, events we are going for, and we are using the platform to pass the message across on strategies on how we can actually close the energy gap, move the nation forward. They are working, because what we then see is a lot of the organizations in the industry are beginning to also focus on deliberate supplier diversity, which is one of the reasons why we are here today. And a number of those organizations are beginning to reach out to us to say that we want to be deliberate about our supplier diversity plans, and we want to also implement affirmative procurement. But guess what? If they all put all these policies in place and they are ready to implement, and they call for the people that will implement, and alas, we are not ready, or we are not even available, what then happens? So for instance, if a Shell say, oh, I want to give out 100 contracts, of which I want 40% to go to women-owned or women-led business, and they make the call and there's nobody available, or we don't have the expertise, because it's going to be merit-based. Even if, yeah, there's a quota, what it then means is if women businesses are not available to fill that quota, they're just going to go to the men-owned business to fill their quota, which is one of the reasons why we are having this kind of engagement to enlighten women, to bring it, bring this opportunity to your awareness. So currently in our industry, a lot of the organizations, both the IOCs and the NOCs, have the mandate to ensure supplier diversity and affirmative procurement, leaning on that policy signed on by the presidency. And they have reached out to us to say that we want list of women-owned, women-led businesses that we can register as our vendors, and be able to, whenever we have such jobs, whenever we have any of those jobs available, we can call on them to maybe bid or bring their quotation and what have you. And they really want to be deliberate about it. So which is why we are having, like I said, this kind of webinar. So I'd like to plead with all of us, if you are interested, please, if you don't have your CAC, get your CAC done. And if you're maybe an employee at this point and you don't have, by virtue of the policies of your organization, you can collaborate at equity level. Sandra mentioned something about you can collaborate at equity level. I'm sure our organizations do allow us to at least buy shares in open organizations. So equity level means be a shareholder and also find a way to contribute your quota in line with maybe your connections, your network, to support the organization's growth. Now, for those of us that are maybe close to retirement, this is the time to start looking at what next. Like I normally say, it pains and it hurts my heart when, I see colleagues that we've been in the industry together post-retirement, there in one shopping mall selling rice and vegetable oil, when you've gone through the industry for 20 years, gone on several trainings, several events, several outings, and what have you. But the truth is, a lot of them don't even know what next to do. So again, this is the reason why we have this kind of webinar session to enlighten women. So currently we are collaborating with UN Women as they implement what they call the affirmative procurement. And we are looking at the energy, oil and gas, and also the climate action aspects. Now, specifically for oil and gas, we've had calls from top organizations, IOCs, like the likes of Chevron, the likes of Mobil. Now, for those of us that are core industry, we know that Seplat had bought over the assets of Mobil. So what it means is Seplat is expanding. So we have Seplat Mobil. And they have specifically even asked that they want to really, really commence implementation of the affirmative procurement this year. And in their magnanimity, if I may put it that way, they also wouldn't want a case where we don't even understand how to come on, because you know, women, we easily get discouraged. You try it once, twice, it's not working, you just leave it there, it's too complicated. You know, so in order to help us out on all such excuses, they actually even want to facilitate a special training on how women can become their vendors, can be registered as their vendors. Because as we all know, it's a very organized industry. You can't just say, oh, because I have this experience, I have this license and all that. Another thing that you have to do is you have to, all those licenses are the documentation you will then use to register as their vendors in their supply chain directorates, you know. And some of those registration can really be complicated. And if you are not a registered vendor, it will be very difficult for them to even give you jobs, or for them to even publish available contracts, you know, to you. So the first step, the next step rather, after everything said by Ogochukwu is, Ambassador Ogochukwu, you know, she's our latest ambassador. You know, after everything said by Ambassador Ogochukwu, the next thing is for you to find ways to register as a vendor across all the different industry organizations. Some are walkover and some you really need to know how to do it. So Seplat is offering us some slots, training slots to enlighten ready women that want to become, that want industry contracts on how to become their vendors. The training will be coming up this October. There will be 2 cohorts, one in Lagos. I think the Lagos one is first week in October. The second one is in is going to be in Warri, South and Southwest. They will still do the one for the North. But basically the objective is to be able to enlighten our women on how to, Nigerian women at large, it's not even just industry women, because we have some women that actually does services that are not 100%, it's not just 100 energy, oil and gas industry they serve, they also serve other industries, you know. So this is an opportunity I want us to key into as members of Women in Energy, Oil and Gas. And if you are not yet a member, please feel free to also key into it, register as a member, go on www.weog.org. We can also send you the link, register as a member, because we are meant to send in names. We're looking at about 300 women at this first cohort. But it's critical that you at least have your business registered. For this particular spec, for this particular cohort, they are looking at women that already have businesses that are like 2 years old, not 100% green on. So they are looking at women that have businesses that are like 2 years old, you have your CAC, and the determining factor will be your CAC. So for some of us that have very old CAC, thank God you had probably registered it before. It's time to leverage on that now. And just like Ambassador Gochukutu told us, please just quickly go and see how you can maybe get the CAC to be active. You know, she was trying to talk about filings and all that. So you might probably just need to pay the filing fee for whatever number of years or thereabout, but at least they are looking at. So we'll be sending them names of women-owned businesses that have CAC registration for 2 years and above. And then also some of those documentation, the ones that are critical and relevant to the business or the contract you are looking at. So let me look at a shop floor contract like catering. There was a time NCDMB came with a report that 80% of the catering organizations servicing the energy, oil, and gas industry are all foreigners. How embarrassing. In fact, that was too embarrassing for me. I covered my eyes, I covered my face that day, you know, in Bielsa when that was being shared. I'm like, 80%, what are they cooking that our women cannot cook? You know, however, if by the time you look at the situation, maybe the women don't even know the necessary certifications they need to have, the necessary licenses they need to have, you know. So those are, and I can tell you that even ordinary catering business or catering contract in this industry runs into millions of dollars, you know, because we have catering organization that services like people on board a delivery ship, maybe an LNG ship, for instance, that is going to deliver gas from Nigeria to Korea. The people on board, they have to eat, and they just don't buy food from inside the food. They don't get their food from inside the water. Somebody needs to be cooking. And some of those organizations that have those contracts, they are foreign organizations, they are Lebanese organizations, and what have you. So why can't it just be you and I? If you have that flair, please go for it. And so many others. I've given examples of those that started their businesses as motorboys. For instance, we have a member of the Weog board that started a business as a roadside gas seller. As a matter of fact, in the 90s, my sister and I used to go and buy gas from a roadside gas dispensing small company. But today, she has the largest gas storage, LPG, that's gas, cooking gas storage facility in Nigeria. Also, she's one of the first organizations to set up a gas cylinder manufacturing plant in Nigeria. So again, the message is start from somewhere, you know. So on that form, we've tried to put a lot of list of the different technical, non-technical businesses and opportunities. As we get more information, we keep updating that list. And if you also have some that are not on the list, please feel free to send us an email to Secretariat. Secretariat will add all those extras to it as well. So the training is coming up next. Oh. So I think it's next week or upper week. And then we have a mandate to provide a list of about 300 women, West and South. So if you have not filled that Google form, please go and fill it. And if you know other women entrepreneurs that may be interested and they want to get into the energy, oil, and gas value chain, please send them the form. Let them also fill it. We hope to send our list to the organization latest early next week. So, which is one of the reasons why we actually called for this Congress. So I think by Tuesday, thereabouts, Wednesday, we'll be sending the first batch at least. So we encourage as many women as possible to get on board. The critical factor we're going to use is you must have a 2-year-old, minimum of a 2-year-old CAC. And secondly, you have to own at least 51%. That's very critical because that's what then determines, or that's what defines your business as a women-owned business. So if peradventure is not up to 51 and you need to do some equity adjustments, please quickly find a way to get that done as well. So I know some people are on 50-50, maybe with their husband or some other partners and all that. But that one can make a whole lot of difference because all those funding mentioned by Engineer Tolu earlier too, all the available funding, one criteria they use in giving out the fund is that the company must be 51, at least 51% women owned. So it doesn't just have to be you only, but at least 51% women. So if for adventure, you already have a 50-50 share thereabouts with your partner, I have had to do it at one point where we were trying to also key into some women-owned opportunity like this. And I have a partner that I think we run a 55-45, if I remember clearly, and in order for us to be able to key into that, because I was actually even the one running the core affairs of the organization, while he more or less does more external relations with government and what have you. And at one point, we had to do like a equity adjustment. And of course, the way our men can be. And I had to then advise him, okay, fine. What you just need to do is shelve off a percentage of your own 55%, such that you shelve it off to your wife or to your daughter and what have you. Well, anyway, so there are different strategies we might want to use to go around that, but it's critical that 51% of that share, of the company share, is women owned, either your daughter, your wife, or something. So for some of us that might need to do some adjustments, I would advise that we quickly go on and do it. So basically that is that. And then we also have others coming on, apart from Seplat Mobile. We also have others coming on, like Chevron and some other independent organizations as well. Because, like I said, it's not just a national thing, it's an international clarion call. Our External Relations Director, Dame Asia Asanaudu, was with the US government a couple of weeks ago representing Weog at a forum. And one major, feedback from that meeting was that, again, supplier diversity. So it's a global thing. And it's always better when something is still fresh and new, key into it early, be one of the early off-takers, if I may call it that. Take advantage of the opportunity as quickly as possible, as early as possible, before it gets watered down. So you have a sister out there, you have a mom out there, you have a friend out there. Let them know. Share the link to that Google form with them. Let them fill the form as quickly as possible. Once we hit the number we want, we might have to hold response, do our reviews before we open it again. So the earlier, the better. And for members of Weog that have not done the needful, please do the needful. And to re-emphasize, we actually have a special membership type in Weog that is for businesses. So if your registration, maybe for Weog members, if your registration is not the business membership type, you might want to upgrade it, because we also use that as a criteria. Because we want, again, entrepreneurship is the way to go. America is what it is today because of entrepreneurship. They built their small businesses. So whatever level, we are open to accommodate you. We are still at micro level, macro level, small scale, medium scale. You don't have to start with $1 billion. You don't have to start with $1 million. You don't even have to start with $100,000. You don't even have to start, just start with your interest, with your passion, with your idea. Start with your CAC, start with there's a DPR that is just 25,000 naira. There's a DPR for artisans that is just 25,000 naira. There's a DPR that is 100,000, 250, and then 400,000. So start somewhere. That's the main message. And please feel free. This is not the kind of information you get and just keep it to yourself. There's no point holding the information because the more the merrier, and let's see how we can indeed help to move the nation forward. China is what it is today, again, because of their entrepreneurship progress. They encourage even their young people. You will see a 10-year-old couple a small wristwatch, and they will now export it and bring it to Nigeria, and then we'll be starting to buy it. December now, you go to Balogun, you will see all sorts of small toys we are buying for our children. By the time you check who coupled those at the toy, it's done by a 15-year-old small boy in one secondary school in China. So why can't it be Nigeria? Why can't it be Africa? So this message actually goes out to the entire African women in Nigeria, and this is why we have to extend it to our Pan-African women and those in other countries as well. Let's try and see how we can go entrepreneurial. For those of us that are employees, let's see how we can also help to make this message go out there to our board such that they can also find ways to implement what we call the affirmative procurement or supplier diversity in our organization. In addition to this, we are receiving lots of calls from different countries as well. So I mentioned the US government thing, where the Marcia represented us. We also currently have a call from China. China is putting together a kind of China, they have a lot of all this Chinese version of virtually all the equipment. So they have been doing a lot of work at the background on all those oil and gas equipment. So they are running a big conference and they want more women participation. As a matter of fact, they have been the one chasing after us to come and participate because they want us to be their OEM distributor, OEM representative. I know, I don't know whether it was Engineer Tolu or Mrs. Epe that mentioned the OEM. So even if you don't have the liver or you don't want to go into the core technicals or the supporting, all you can just do is be a representative of an existing OEM. Okay, yes, it was Sandra telling us that organizations like Alibotin and Baker Hughes and what have you, they manufacture equipment and they really don't have any necessary business, having facilities all across because they already have their manufacturing plants, somewhere. Now, what these guys are also trying to do is to start manufacturing some of those equipment. But the way China normally help to crash price. So something you probably get from American eczema, thousands or millions of dollars. By the time Chinese come out with their own version, which would probably also do exactly what the other one will do, and they are getting necessary certification, for it and what have you. So they want, and those are some of, and you can just key into it as their OEM representative in your country, in Nigeria, to supply all those equipments. And a lot of all those organizations, oil and gas organizations, need those equipment, without which they can't even function. They can't drill, they can't do a lot of things, and so on. So that's another fantastic opportunity. So we'll be using the database for a lot and lot of we'll be positioning those registered in the database for a lot and lot of entrepreneurship opportunities that comes our way. So they have also asked that we should present them with some women that can be their OEM representative in Nigeria or even Africa at large. So and they are also inviting us for like a conference where they can showcase some of those equipments. I recall the former Lagos chapter director at one point even invited some OEM organizations to have talks with us on some equipment, refining equipment, spare parts, and what have you. So that's even a very easy aspect that you don't necessarily even have to have all the expertise and experience. Just be their distributor in Africa, and then you will just be cruising and then be making very cool, calm, collected money, and what have you. So several opportunities are coming up. Like I said, it's a global clarion call. Affirmative procurement is here to stay. We will make it stay, So, and that's part of the advocacy Weog is pressing and pushing across the world. I'm sure some of us are aware that we started our pavilion, our global pavilion in America. We are also going to use the platform to also help women own some of the businesses here to showcase their organizations at other upcoming international conferences where we would be staging our global pavilion as well. We're already doing it in Nigeria across the different Nigerian industry events where we have booths and leverage the platform to showcase as many of entrepreneur women businesses. So those are some of the things, opportunities that are available at the moment. So please, let's key into it. We need as many women as possible. It's not something you want to eat alone. Eat alone, die alone. At this point, I think I would yield the floor back to Mrs. Sandra or Mrs. Khadija Jekine to run us through the next session or the question and answer session. Please feel free to put in your questions and answers, and maybe your questions rather, and we will try and answer them as well. Thank you very much. God bless you and happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, National President. That was a very long and insightful one, but thank you all the same. Okay, so here we have some questions trickling in. The first one is from Miriam Kombo Eze. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it properly. And it's actually directed to Mrs. Ogochukwu. I don't know, Mrs. Ogochukwu, please, are you still in the house?
Yes, I am, my darling.
Oh, all right, ma'am. Can you see the first question?
Okay, let's see.
Can I read it out?
Yes, you can read it out. I'm trying to scroll.
Okay. Mrs. Ogochukwu, please, don't we need SCUMUL certificate from EFCC? I don't know what SCUMUL is. Before we
Okay,
can open
SCUMUL,
bank account for the company.
Let me try. No, we don't need a SCUMUL for now. We don't.
Okay, let me see.
It's not part of the technical assessment for now.
Okay, let me type it
In
out.
fact, when you need a SCUMUL, they will reach out to you for it. Depends on the volume of money coming into your account. And mostly if it's in foreign currencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's the first one. The second question. Please, what is the hope for a woman who is interested in the oil and gas industry but never had an opportunity to ever work in this industry? What is she to do if she wants to do business in this industry or work?
Get a mentor who is into oil and gas to guide you through. Then start from your area of expertise. Join Women in Energy, Oil and Gas.
Okay, no, I don't think you should type their answers. They are listening in. We expect that if somebody
you're listening
question,
in. Okay.
They say, I
Okay.
everything. Yes.
I think President, mentioned and a lot about women who are trailblazers in this area, and they are lawyers. I'm not sure they've been engineers or they worked in this field, so it's doable. Lakija is the richest woman in Africa, and she's not an engineer, so it's doable. Like God said, just get a mentor.
Yeah, that's when mentorship comes in.
And the interest as well. I think interest is also critical because you must be interested. You must know the area you are interested in, not just, I want to do oil and gas. So is it trucking you want to do, or you want to own a filling station, or you want to own a gas block? Just know where your interest is, and then go and look at the shop. If you have the money to go straight for your interest, that's fine. But if you don't have the money, so for instance, you are interested in owning a filling station, you have the money to start a filling station. If you have it, fine, go for it. But make sure you have a mentor so that you don't get your fingers burnt. But if you don't, but you still have that dream and vision to own a filling station, go and look for the smallest thing you can start with in filling station. So for instance, you can even start peddling diesel. You know, I don't mind it would be a miracle if some of those women that we see outside there now selling petrol in kegs one day become station owners. You know, we have a peculiar story like that of a woman who is currently she's the owner of Bovas.
Yeah.
She started from the shop floor, you know, and then from there, like that, then later she became a dealer with Texaco of the old days. Today she runs her own group, both oil and gas. But if you hear her story is so amazing, you know, that it was almost like because she wanted to do oil, she you know, and so on. So basically, if you don't have the money but have the passion, start from the shop floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, National President. So we head on to the third question. And the person says, please, I want the president to please give me a chance to speak. So her name is Christiana Aderibigbe. So National President, she needs a chance to speak. I guess there's something she wants to either contribute or clarify or ask.
We'll look at it. It's not a meeting, it's a webinar. So it's only panelists that can speak.
Okay, so Christiana, I guess you can just type what it is you want to say at the Q&A. So the next is Pauline Agbaje. Good day all. Thank you for this great opportunity. My question is to Madam Okekulu. Please, can we mute your mics? My question is to Madam Okekulu concerning collaboration with technical partners. When bidding for jobs as a young company, is it advisable to use the name of the technical partner as the company name for the bid or the name of the young company? Thank you. Madam Mogo, I think this is your.
You use your name. You use your name. And if a technical company is big enough to partner with a young company like you, it actually gives you an edge. So the job is coming to you, the young company, but you are riding on the experience and the expertise, the equipment of your technical partners. So it's like a giant backing you up. You're a little cat and you are riding on the back of an elephant. It is you that the bid was sent to. It was not sent to your technical partners. So when you bid with your own name. They can see that you're a young company. Then on partnership, you supply all the job experiences of your partner, and there is a partnership letter. Some may go forward to verify. So ensure that you actually have a good relationship with your technical partner. And you let your technical partner know, I am bidding for this job. It's your area of expertise. I think I'll be able to get this job because of supplier diversity policy now that is working in my favor. Partner with me. So you go in with your name, not the name of your technical partner.
So, thank you. Let me make a comment also. Let me add something here. So based on experience, it's difficult for the big companies to really tender with small companies because you have a lot of people playing in this field and some people have gone really far. So most times what I discovered is these technical partners, they like to go with people who have given them some job. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. So a lot of the tenders that come into NIPEX, that come to you, these are the NIPEX tenders. The big guys always have, they is their call to choose who they want to go with. You cannot, if you like, let 100 companies send an email, they would decide who they want to go with. You cannot really influence it. At times, they have requirements to that decision. So it's compliance. They cannot even go against it. To flag up in their system that why are you choosing this person? What's your reason for choosing this person? So most times, the truth is, coming from Baker, we used to assess companies sending us email for technical partnership. So number one advice I would give is, first of all, forget about the big tenders, those NIPEX tenders. One advice I was told, or what I leveraged on, was going to the marginal field guys, like the smaller companies like Platform, Midwestern, Energy, those companies who do not advertise on NIPEX. Those ones that do in-house tendering, they are the ones that will give you this opportunity. And you have to ride on this opportunity for 1, 2, 3 years and build capacity before you now start going to do NIPEX tender. So look for the smaller companies. When you get the in-house tender, you have to try to send an email, be the first. They look at first come, first serve. Be the first to send an email ASAP. Make sure you have your documents and try and find a way to know somebody in-house. If you are going for conferences, you must have met somebody. That somebody, these are connections also come to play in this field. So always try to focus. As a small company, focus on the smaller marginal field, not even the NOCs, the marginal field. Start looking for opportunities from there. From there, you move to NOC. From there, you move to IOC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sandra. That was insightful too. So it's like starting small and then you build your way up, So, over to the next question. Okay, this is from Ibidumi Ojelade. This is a fantastic congress. I never knew the mentoring programs in Weog. I've been a member for a little above 1 year, but it seems that I've been floating. I've attended a few outings, but those seem to get the flow. I'm impressed with this meeting. Thank you so much, Ibu, for your comments. She further said, I want to ask if I could be assigned a mentor. I have been on my own for a long time in the oil and gas industry. So I would leave this to our national president, Dr. Duni, to answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibiduni Ojelade. Thank you for that comment. Yes, we do have a structured mentorship program that we officially launched in 2023. We will be implementing that soonest. We are looking at later this year, maybe Q4, starting Q4 thereabouts. And MVP sectors, Engineer Tolulunge is in charge of that. So, and it's going to be distributed for both employees and entrepreneurs. And then we will even kind of put it in gradients on number of years. So 0 to 2 years, young professionals, 5 to 10 years, middle management, supervisory coordinator role, level, management level, C-suite level, board level, and what have you. And then for those that are core business entrepreneurs, we would also do that so that we can actually find ways to handhold each other. But before now, we've had a number of out sessions and training for entrepreneurs. Some we've done with the NCDMB and what have you. I recall last year we had with MP-Trek TDA, and that was really, really a very engaging mentoring outing, on entrepreneurship in the industry. And we even had field visits and what have you. So please watch out for when we will announce the formal mentorship program. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Juni, our national president. Ibiduni Ojelade, I hope that answered your question. So over to the next. This person's name is Anonymous Attendee. You didn't write out your name. I think you should try and tell us who you are. But the question goes like this. Please, what is the hope for a woman who is interested in the oil and gas industry but never had any opportunity to ever work in this industry? What is she to do if she wants to do business in this industry or work? I'll yield the floor to Mrs. Ogo.
It's been answered though. It's the same question.
I think that's been answered. I think that's exactly the
yeah.
same question somebody asked.
Okay.
Answered.
Okay. So over to Oludolapo Okulaji Akotu. Her question is, would like to contact Khadija on registering with NCDMB and find out more about funding opportunities there. Okay, so you can contact me via my email. I think I'll drop my email address here. And then I would walk you through as per registering.
No, please feel free to share it so that others can also learn from that.
Okay, so basically it's to register at our Logic JQS, right? If you go to www.ncdmb.gov.ng, click on it, it's going to take you to our website. I will drop that address to here, I'll type it here. It's going to take you to our website. So when you get to our website, you scroll and then you see Logic JQS registration. So first of all, anyone that has to do, just like NIPEX, if you want to do anything in the industry, you have to be registered there. So most times, if we want to pick out names or list of companies that we want to send, maybe like a link or invite for most of our programs or our training programs, we go to this our portal and receive out some names that are registered. There are other criteria though, but majorly you just have to be registered at the portal. That's like one of the first major steps. Funding opportunities. Yes, we have the one Dr. Longe, right? Tolu Longe spoke about the Nexim and the NCDMB loan. So that you have to go to the Nexim website. The criteria is listed there. You can even just go online and Google Nexim and NCDMB loan. Click on it and then you see the criteria on how you can access this loan. Like Mrs. Sandra earlier said, there are interest rates. I think for the dollar is like 5% annual. Then I think for Naira is like 8% annual, if I'm correct. So basically that's that. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And then also, if you want to do, if you want to carry out oil and gas activities in country, it's not just NCDMB registration you need. Mrs. Ogo mentioned earlier on, you have to register at NUPRC, you have to get your different permits. I know you have to have NIPEX registration. You have to definitely be registered with us, you know, so there are other criteria you need to meet up to, you know, in order for you to work in the oil and gas or have services in the oil and gas industry. Okay, so over to the next question. Ibiduni Ojelade again. She said, is it only engineers that can play within these sectors? Ibiduni, yes, Mrs. Sandra. Yeah, Mrs. Sandra said earlier on, yeah, if you listen to her presentation, she made mention of it. You don't have to be an engineer to play in this sector, right? And then Mrs. Ogo further stated what the criteria you need to meet to play in this sector, in the oil and gas sector. So over to the next question. Olu Dolapo Ukulaje Cotton. She said, thank you there. Great webinar. We must take it to the next level. I'm very interested in doing this. based on this, and especially on what National President is currently talking about, sign me up for training. So basically for training, you have to be registered with Weog, yeah, so that you get to have first-hand access to trading opportunities. Yeah, so you have to be very, you have to be pretty. So when information like this comes out, they drop it on a Dr. Juni drops it on the platform, and you have first-hand access to it. Is there any other thing Dr. Juni would like to throw in here?
Okay, yeah, so basically, yeah, let's spread the news around as many women as we know we come in contact with. It's critical that you are registered with a network, because that's part of the criteria. We want to know you. We don't just want to recommend you and we don't know you. So we need to know you. So go on www.weog.org and fill the form, and the secretariat team will definitely get back to you. And yeah, be officially registered. At one point, you see, I hear some people say, oh, what we see is that you go for a lot of outings, a lot of events, Weog is here, Weog is there. What we are using that to do is to build the credibility and visibility of the organization, such that when you as a member takes a Weog certificate and attach it as part of your document, in fact, we are working hard to even get Weog certificate to become so recognized that it becomes like a mandatory attachment if you want to key into any supplier diversity opportunity contract, So key into it, leverage on it, do the needful, be up to date financially. That's also very critical, because we now see some cases where people they've not paid their annual due. Annual due is 20,000 naira for an individual member. For SME business owners, I think it's 40,000 naira. And all that is really, really insignificant and so tiny compared to the opportunities, daring and what have you. So key into it and leverage on it. It's almost nothing. For us, that money is not even what we are looking at. It's just to ensure you have some skin in the game, and so on. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, our National President, Dr. Juniowo. Over to the next question from Oludola Kwastil. She said, our very ambassador, Ogochukwu, please send me your number. Many thanks. So, Mrs. Ogo, I don't know if you're comfortable with that, but she's requesting for your number.
Okay, let's move on.
Then to the next question. Hello, it's Engineer Christabel. Beautiful presentations from all speakers. Thank you, Christabel. Thank you so much. And then to the next question, Olubemishola Oduto. Do we have to register with BPP? Yes, I think if you're going to do anything on the procurement, yes, they will ask for your BPP registration, your RRR, things like that, certificates and things like that. If you're going to do anything that has to do with procurement, I think services too, to my knowledge, that's what I know. Yeah. Then the next
let's Ogochukwu also help us with that answer, because I know
so Mrs.
BPP is majorly for government contracts.
Okay.
Yeah, most times for BPP is for government procurement. So it's actually good for you to have it. Most oil and gas companies, one way or the other, you find out you get a job with NMPC before, that's government somehow. So it is better safe than be sorry. The BPP is not actually very expensive. Once you pay, you get your IRR and you just have it in case. What we are advocating is preparing, getting all our preparations done for when God opens the door for opportunity for us. We don't get disqualified because of BPP. So it's advisable to actually keep it aside, but most oil and gas focused jobs, they don't ask you for it.
Okay, Doctor.
Because for oil and gas procurement, the oil and gas procurements are actually different. You get a NUPRC permits for the difference. If you are procuring a wellhead or Christmas trees, the kind of NUPRC license you have will be different. If it's for minor procurements and the civil works and the rest, the license is different. Like somebody who is in Seplat, what you are supplying is just bed sheets or beddings for the accommodation and the rest. The permit that is required of you is different from when, you are a supplier of AGO to their drilling sites, or you are supplying chemicals to their drilling sites, or you are supplying even water, is different. So most oil and gas contracts, they will want you to have the permit for procurement, their procurement permits. But for externally, any ministry, government ministries and the rest, you have a BPP. You have a BPP license to present. You have to have that to be at an advantage.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ambassador Ogo. Okay, over to the next question. Anonymous attendee. This person says, last year, I applied for a contract on a consortium but was not given. This year, while following to know why they said it's because I am the one that applied that I should have used the big company. I don't understand. So they didn't give you the contract because you applied, you didn't use the big company.
Anyway, those are some of the politics in the industry. Madam Sandra can probably assist.
So,
Which one the question, please?
The one that has anonymous.
Okay, last year I applied for a contract. Okay,
Yes.
but was not giving. Okay, so you were not given the contract because you didn't meet the requirements. You know, when you tender for a contract, you have the technical. You have the technical like it comes either in two in one package or one package. You know, they call it the double envelope tender or single envelope. So double envelope means technical and commercial. Single means either only technical, right? So before you like Ogo said, before they even open your commercial, you must pass the first stage of the technical. And your technical has to do with all your the first thing is your statutory your documents, all the things Ogo have said. Then you go to your down to even things like your organization structure, your quality document, risk assessment document. They may even ask you for a bank proof. For example, there was one I did and they asked me to provide $1.5 million proof of funds or a proof of job I've done before. So you have a lot of each tender comes specific. You know, you must meet those requirements. If you don't meet it and it is mandatory, you're not going to pass. Then if they said that you didn't pass because a big company did not back you up, so obviously it means you didn't have the capacity to do the job. Like I said in my presentation, you have different levels of these jobs. The ones that are highly technical, you cannot do that job on your own. You must go with the technical partners. So the jobs where you require special original equipment manufacturer to bring that equipment and service that equipment. No customer will want to do a well, to drill a well is about $30 million. No customer will want to play, you know, with that kind of high profile job. So you didn't win the job because of you didn't have a partner, and maybe if you had, you didn't have an MOU, you know, or there were no right documentation to pass that technical phase to the commercial. So I don't know if that answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. So I guess what Sandra is trying to say is not just having a consortium with a big company. There are other criteria that they look at. So it's possible that some of your documentations were not in place or they were not there, you know. So sorry for that. Next, we have Ebejiwa Bua. Ebejiwabua, and she says, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. How can we get into the list for Seplat with Weog? We render fire and safety services with over 5 years experience in the industry. We have technical partners in France and Total Energies as our major clients. Thank you. So this should be over to Dr. Duni. You made mention of the upcoming
Okay, so again, please fill the Google form if you have not filled the Google form. Can somebody from Secretariat drop the Google link to the Google form on the chat box for everyone to have it? Fill the Google form because that's what we'll be using, and just fill in all your details. If peradventure you don't have listing, because I'm seeing fire and safety, I know we have HSE on that listing, you know, either upstream, midstream, or downstream or something. But if peradventure we have the slot for, maybe we have the space for order, feel free to fill whatever the order is for you. And then if you're not a registered member of Weog, please register as a member of Weog, because that's also critical for us, and ensure you follow up with Secretariat to issue your membership certificates. And then we advise that you quickly do that because we'll be sending the list next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, National President, Dr. Duniowo. Ebejiwabua, I guess that's answered your question. So over to the next question, Christabel Ikiocha, and she says, thank you for the kind response, Engineer Tolu. Please, I have a small 20-ton newly constructed CNG retail plant. Sourcing funds to lift gas has been a great challenge. What is your advice on how to solve this funding gap? So this one goes to Engineer Tolu.
I think we had talked severally about different funding opportunities and all that. So I think it's about going to either the websites of those organizations and following up on the requirements, or please join the next Weog mentoring cohort so that you can be provided the necessary mentoring in order to progress this as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Tolu. So
I think sorry, if I may also put in 1 or 2 lines on that. This person says she has a newly built 20-ton CNG. Now, CNG is the in thing because the is a federal government project. So what I would advise you do is try and reach out to, number one, reach out to the chairperson gas, Weog chairperson gas, and now Meje. Let's see whether she has some link as to maybe off-takers for you, because if is it a vision, if it's something that is already done and is on ground, we need to be clear about what you need exactly. Is it customers you need? Is it funding? You say, oh, funding to lift gas. Okay, so lifting gas. So is it a baby station you have or a mother station? So we need to be clear about the technicalities of what you have exactly. If it's a mother station, I mean, if it's a baby station that is supposed to be feeding the retail outlets, like a retail outlet, that's a fantastic one. All you just need to do is key into what PICNG is doing. If we have all this information, maybe you should just chat us at the back of at the end of this meeting, we can link you up with the PICNG team. We're also doing some things with Decade of Gas as well. So these are areas we can look into intricately. But we need to be clear about exactly what you need funding for. And is it off-takers you are looking for? Because gas is a off-taker driven business. That off-taker before start looking at doing gas, except it's a baby station, like I highlighted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, National President.
Can I say something there? She said she's looking for sourcing funds to lift gas. So you have your newly constructed 20-ton CNG retail plant, you are sourcing for fund. If you built this plant, that means you have spent a lot of money. So I am thinking with your bank statement evidences, pictures stating that you are the owner of this facility, reach out to Bank of Industry. Bank of Industry is actually very supportive of women-owned industry. And the major part of the job is what you have done. Ensure that you have all your licenses to lift CNG and the rest. They will come for inspection on the facility, give evidence that you are the owner, and show how you are able to build this. Then lifting, they could actually connect you to suppliers of CNG who can actually be given to you and serve as an intermediary supporting. You have an account with them so that any money coming, they are sure that the money is coming into the account that they can control and you'll be able to pay. Your bankers can actually help here. If all these monies you use for the construction pass through your account owned by a bank, they are actually supposed to give you, be able to give you. There's actually a business relationship you have with your bank, and they can give you like, what do they call this thing? I've forgotten. So you lift, you supply, and like, it's like a discounting stuff, but it's not discounting. So if you have access to the people they lift, your bank come as an intermediary to help you in between. But I am telling you that don't get frustrated, because what you have done is actually the main part of it. You already have the constructed CNG, and like Dr. Duni said, that is the future. The future is CNG. And you can actually seek partnership with people who already have CNG retail outlets and are looking for more, and serve like an agent to them for now until you find your feet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Ogo. That was insightful too. Christopher, I guess this would have resolved the question you dropped on here. But if you need further clarification, you can reach out to the gas committee, Anna Omeje, and just drop your questions there. They will guide you as to what to do. And then, like Ambassador Ogo rightly said, you can still get go to Bank of Industry too. I know they give I don't know, guidance on things like this too. Over to the next question, Benedicta Ogbeche. Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you for this insightful webinar. The training mentioned is going to be for how long, please? And when is it happening in Abuja? Thank you. I need a mentor, please. Ogbeche Benedicta. Okay, so I would refer this to National President Dr. Duni. I think she's asking for the CEPLAT
The CEPLAT training, vendor,
yes.
Women vendor training. It's
Yes.
in October. It's second. The one in Lagos is second week in October, and the one in Warri is the following week. So that will be like, I will get the specific timeline. So if you are not registered on the Google form, please register on the Google form, and then we will ensure everyone that is registered on the Google form gets all necessary information. There is no Abuja for now. They have not communicated Abuja to us. I'm not sure if they are planning to, at least we are very sure they are doing Lagos and Warri. So I'd like to ask that everybody South, please congregate in Warri. Ambassador Ogochukwu, who has recently become an ambassador of the United Nations, is ready. He's ready and available to accommodate everyone. And for those of us in Lagos, please, we're all here ready to also. For those of us in Southwest, so please feel free also to attend the one in Lagos. I will try and drop the link to the Google form on the chat box. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, National President. Over to the next question, Pauline Agbaje. She said, thank you, Madam Okeke Polo and Madam Sandra, for your response and clarity. I appreciate. Thank you so much, Pauline. And then Pauline again, how and where do we register for the CEPLAT/moving training? Okay, so like National President rightly said, once she will drop the link for the Google form, you should fill out that Google form, and then once they've clarified on the actual time, date, venue. She will drop it on our platforms. Next question. Ebe Jiwabua. May I also add that we are registered with Seplat and Weog? Thank you. Okay, so she says she's registered with Seplat and Weog. Yes, but however, okay. However, there's another link that the national president is going to drop. Once she drops that link, Bua, try and register, click on that link and fill out all the necessary information requested for. Thank you. Olugbemishola Oduton, what kind of license is needed for overalls, PPPs, protection gear? Ambassador Ogo, I think this question is for you. She said, what kind of license is needed for overalls, PPPs, protection gear?
Hello, Khadija. I think this is like going to almost 4 hours. I'm not sure we'll be able to answer, like, take all the questions. If not, we're not going to leave.
Just after that, we just have 2 more.
Yeah, okay. I know some parts still dropping more, so let's just maybe we can just round up.
Okay, let me go to the next one.
Okay, so I think in the follow-up mail, there is the email from Weog Secretariat email that you can drop for that question. And if you're on the Weog platform, you can also drop your question. Supplier diversity team will look at it, and or secretariat people will forward it to the supplier diversity team and see how we can respond. Or better to send it via email. I think we should be rounding up this.
Okay, so I should stop with the questions, or I should take
No,
some...
just finish up the last 2, since you said they are just 2.
Okay, so Miriam Komboese said, apart from contracts on the oil and gas, is there room for dispute resolution, mediation and attribution in the energy industry? Okay, Madam Tolu is typing an answer to that question, so I'll leave it to her. Over to the next. I run an energy company in both solar and oil and gas. That's 3 years old. I worked with oil and gas company as a management staff. How do I get a technical partner and sign MOU to work with them in executing job orders? I want to start with diesel supply, cooking gas, lubricants, to build my capital. Please advise. Okay, let me just quickly say, we've been saying collaboration here, networking. There are a lot of events that you need to go for. You meet people, you get to network with them. That's how you collaborate. You get to meet people and collaborate. So I think when you see any upcoming events, like I said, we have PNC, we have NOGOF, the other Weog events that you get to meet other people. These are opportunities for you to know, network, and get to meet people that you can collaborate with, and build your company together. Another question, please share information on how to become a member. Thanks. The link will be dropped. The link has already been dropped. Hasia, I will drop the link to become Weog member. So just click on that link and then follow the necessary steps, fill out what you need to fill out, and that's it. And then the last question, Ella Samuel. For the records, I worked in Port Harcourt. I'm familiar with Worry. Okay, thanks. We are glad to know that. Okay, so that'll be all for now. Thank you all. Thank you all. I know it's been a long webinar, but thank you all for your patience. And then I'll yield the floor back to Sandra. Thank you. Okay, hello. Okay, Sandra is not on. I think I'll give the floor to Dr. Duni for closing remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been a long one. It wasn't meant to be this long, but so next time we won't make it this long. It was meant to be a maximum of 1 hour, 30 minutes if outing. But apparently it became super engaging and people stayed back, forgetting that they still have Owambe and activities to goes out on weekends. So we would like to say a big thank you to everyone on behalf of the Weog board, Weog advisory board, Weog executives and members across Nigeria and globally. We say a big thank you for making out time to join this meeting this morning. I'd like to also say a big thank you to the supplier diversity team who worked at the background to make this happen and to make this a reality. I'd like to say a big thank you to the supplier diversity team. Consists of we have a chair who is ill-disposed currently. She's under the weather and that's why she's not here. Mrs. Kate Pam Semlek, who is also an entrepreneur in the energy, oil and gas value chain. The MD of the MD of Stalwart Group. And we also have in the team our National Secretary, Engineer Doit Salabi. I think she came in and then maybe had to leave. I know she's in Calabar attending the Uppoint conference. So maybe the network threw her out at one point. Also, we have our External Relations Director, Weog External Relations Director, Asia Hassan Aldu, who had to wake up at 4 a.m. to also join the call from United States. We have our National Vice President Sector, Engineer Tolulonge, who also had to wake up at 4 a.m. to first join the practice session and also the main session. We have Mrs. Sandra Ekmehago, who is the vice chair for this supplier diversity drive. We have Mrs. Ogochukwu Kepolo, the latest ambassador in town, the latest UN ambassador in town. She'll be hosting us in Warri for the Warri training. She's the chapter director for Delta, Weog Delta chapter. We have Mrs. Khadija Jekine, who is the chairperson, capacity building and training for women in energy, oil and gas Nigeria. We have the MVP chapters, Mrs. Funke Arowojobe. I'd like to also say a big thank you to the secretariat ladies. All this setup we are seeing here, it's something they have to work extra hours, pushing it out, marketing it, publishing it, broadcasting it on the platform, broadcasting it on the social media, and what have you. Working from the background to ensure a smooth flow of the webinar session. Thank you very much as well. We'll say a big thank you to everyone generally and to all the attendees. If we set it up and nobody attended, that would be very, very embarrassing. So we thank you also for participating. I think I've tried to mention everyone. Thank you very much for participating as well. And like I said earlier, please, this is not just for Weog women. This is a part of our nation building strategy and activity. So please get as many women as possible that you know are entrepreneurial or are interested in the industry. If you already have a business, that's good. If you don't have one, start with your CAC. You have a business person in this industry that's registered with the 10,000 Naira CAC. In fact, it was just last year that I was like, I used to do business with this your enterprise CAC. You've done millions of business, go and upgrade to proper limited liability company, which, we had to do like late last year. I had to even give him the CAC person to help him do it. So start somewhere. That's the main message. Start somewhere. For those of us that are retiring soon, there's life after retirement. So look at all these opportunities and key into it. We'll be starting our mentorship program very soon. So please be ready to key into that as well. And please get financially up to date. That's critical for us because as small as the money is, we use it to close out on a lot of administrative clarion call for the organization. The ladies behind the scene get paid their salaries as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for making it happen. God bless you. If you still have any further question, please mail it to us. Feel free to mail it to us. The Secretariat team will find a way to ensure you get an answer. Thank you, and have a restful weekend.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you, presidents. Thank you, admin. Thank you, all participants. We appreciate you. So officially, this meeting comes to a close. Thank you for attending, and we hope
Thank you
to see
all.
in the next Weog event happening on Monday. Weog is celebrating in celebration of the International Maritime Day, September 30th. Thank you and bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.